feel about the fact that you're now the season opener?
Yeah, it's a bit of a different situation. I think first of all, for the people in Queensland and northern New South Wales, we just want to make sure they're safe. We understand football's just a game. There's a lot more at stake than just a game of footy. So, that's the first thought. The second thought is, it's a great opportunity for this football club and obviously to open the season and play an amazing football team in Hawthorn as well.
Does that mean you back the AFL? Did they make the right call with those two games?
I'm not sure really exactly what's coming up and what they're going to encounter with cyclones. I've been a part of cyclones for my whole life in WA, country WA, and they're not great to be a part of. So, the safety aspect's the most important part, and they've made the decision they think's best.
There's obviously bigger problems in Queensland in terms of wider stuff, but how do you feel about your lead into this, your debut game as coach? Probably could have been a bit smoother when you have a look at your injury list at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what happens when you're playing games and trying to get prepared for a season. That if you want to push the boundaries as much as you possibly can to get them in the shape they need to be, and you're unfortunately going to lose one or two along the way. And it's not great to lose some of the calibre of players we do, but that's why you have a squad, and you've got a large group of young players that can come in and hopefully fill the void that Errol missing isn't ideal, but we have to move on from that pretty quickly.
What about the two main ones on the list as a test? Any updates on them, Brodie and Tom?
No, we'll train tonight. So they did what they had to do Monday. Now it's about trying to ramp right up for tonight's session, and then we'll assess them after training, but also tomorrow morning and see how they pull up. And so far they've done what's required, which is pleasing for us.
You mentioned the kind of maybe the extra running and loads that some of the teams kind of done more generally. Do you think that has played a part in any of these? Or, a lot of, obviously, Errol's was an in-game scenario and Brodie's was an in-game scenario. Is it a lot of things that might have happened regardless?
Yeah, I think, and they're the difference you have to try and separate is, are they injuries purely from impact, or are they soft tissue, or ones you can avoid? And, Errol's you can't control other than him not playing. That's the only way you can get away from that. The other ones with Callum and Brodie, and they're sort of ones that happen through training sessions as well. So we need to make sure that you put them in this position, they're aware of outcomes that can happen, but you have to get them prepared for the start of the season. And the game demands are so high now that if you don't do that, then you'll get caught short come Friday night or the following week or the week after.
How much do you think you miss Errol, considering the way he can move the ball, particularly here at the SCG?
Players that, the top players on most lists are hard to replace. That's why, and what they give your football team is profound. And Errol's like that. He's in really good spirits, but, it's just something someone else has to feel. And, we'll shuffle it around a little bit. But players that have played a lot of footy will still be playing.
The pre-season move was Tom McCartan to the forward line. Are you happy with what you've seen so far in the pre-season going into opening round?
He's been good, I think, and that's the part with Tom playing a different spot, or one that he hadn't played for a long time, is it's going to take time, and the defenders that he's playing on, he's learnt over the whole pre-season on some of our defenders, but also now against Collins and the like, and some of the players that he'll get this week they've been traded in for a reason. They are very good footballers for their previous clubs, and they will be for the Hawthorn Football Club. So, he's just a part of a group that needs to get the job done come this weekend.
I feel like every Swans fan I talk to just wants to talk about Angus Sheldrick to start this pre-season. How's he looking? And injury interrupted year, but would you expect a much bigger role for him this year in the senior side?
Yeah, I think so. I think the thing with Angus, he's had a couple of years he's been on the list, he's had severe injuries, or injuries that have been 7 or 8 to 11 weeks out, which is hard for a young player to develop. So for Angus, it's about having a full pre-season, which he's done. And that's the pleasing thing, and he's shown his ability to be able to win the ball, and he's really tough at the contest. So, they're the players that you actually want within your footy team, and hopefully he can have a big impact this year.
Is he going to play on Friday?
Not sure at this stage, but more than likely he will. He's sort of done enough to suggest that he deserves a start.
So obviously there's no like-for-like replacement for Fiddle, but is he the guy who's going to move into the midfield role?
Yeah, well, they both play a little bit different. You know, I think Errol, what he's done on the wing and being able to do there, Angus, he's a contested ball player. So, yeah, what we do with that wing spot, we've got to work our way through. But, you know, Angus will get an opportunity throughout the start of the season to play on ball and get his impact around there.
What do you make of Hawthorn of their pre-season?
Yeah, well, they've been, you know, they've played some really good footy. You know, they played Geelong and the Bulldogs that have, you know, I suppose Geelong jumped them early at their home ground, and, you know, I think what they did last year was phenomenal for a young football team. You know, their strengths weren't only, like everyone talks about, their ball movement, it was about their ability to play the game in their front half. Their contest was really strong, and they've got some quality players that are really dangerous, and that's what makes them a team that plays the second final and has been spoken about so highly. Yeah, we're under no illusion there. They are a very, very good and dangerous football team. So, yeah, we're ready to go.
James Jordan was obviously really strong against Gold Coast on the week on Friday night. He played a lot of that tagging role a bit last year, but clearly he relishes that kind of inside ball chance as well. Do you think we'll see a little bit more of that, especially with guys like Cal and Errol out for the first few weeks?
Yeah, and I think the good balance with James is his ability to play both sides of the ball. You know, one thing you certainly want a midfielder is to be a hard two-way running midfield, and James is at the top of the tree in that regard. Like he's defensively minded when he needs to be. His ability to try and attack when he has to has been really good this pre-season. So finding the balance is important. You've also got him there to be able to knock someone over, and he can do it at the start of a game, he can do it mid-game where he just switches mentally and goes, okay, now my role for the team is this, and he does it. And that's why he's loved at the footy club.
And Sam Wicks has obviously made that move into defence, has looked really strong in pre-season. Do you eye off a nice big early change on like a Nick Watson or someone like that for him if he gets that call up for Friday night?
Yeah, well, he's been really good. You know, I think that's the pleasing part. I think a lot of sort of people speak about Tom and he's moved the other way, but Sam's gone back and has performed really well. You know, but having said that, they've got 3 or 4 very, very dangerous small forwards that can impact up the ground, but also close to goal. So Sam will get a look at a lot of them because, yeah, they rotate really heavily, whether they're high or deep, and they play a very good brand of footy.
Just on McCartan, I
Where's
wonder...
Taylor Adams at for you? He obviously missed out at the end of last season.
Yep.
How's he look for you pre-season? How important a player might he be for you this year?
Taylor's been really important, and even last year he was important through even when he wasn't playing. You know, I think one thing that you need a really strong squad and depth in your group, and Taylor did that even when he wasn't playing. So he's had a great pre-season. You know, he played against the Giants, did really well. He's had some really strong form and some really impactful contests that he showed on the weekend against Gold Coast, plus his leadership. So, you know, he's always adding value to our football club. We do without Tom previously, Tom Papley that is, into our forward line. He's been the real leader up there and trying to rally these young kids and educate them as much as possible, which is really valuable for us.
I just want to talk back to McCartan for a minute. And what has he said about how comfortable he is playing up forward? And what do you make? Does he have good instincts there? I mean, his first goal was pretty cool on the weekend.
Yeah, he's and I think the thing with Tom is just to play on instinct, you know, and to not think about it too much. He's got a really high work rate, you know, and to be able to put defenders into positions where he's up for an outlet or he's leading back to goal or he's turned his bloke inside out. He's played on some unbelievable full forwards. So, you know, the thing I said to Tom is he's learnt from so many great players about how to implement their craft in his game, and that'll take time. But yeah, he's really enjoying it. So hopefully he can stay playing the way he has been.
Obviously, your predecessor's still kind of roaming the halls here at the moment. Have you gone to Hawthorn for any advice ahead of this first AFL game in charge on Friday night?
I've spoken to him regularly. You know, I think that's one thing. We've got a great facility with a coffee area up the top, and you know, and that's where I've spent all my time. You know, to be able to bounce ideas off him. He sort of wanted to allow us to do it our way, and certainly myself. But he's a great sounding board. He's an incredible football brain, but also a great friend as well. So it hasn't just all been about footy, it's been about everything else going, and vice versa with him.
Do you think you'll have any nerves, or what will your feelings be when you actually coach your first actual AFL game?
Yeah, I'll be nervous. Yeah, I think, you know, like I suppose most of the players, now the season's here and it's real, and you know, at the moment I'm okay. It's just sort of getting through the next couple of days, and then my thing is I've got to prepare the players as well as I possibly can. That's my initial role. Hopefully by the time they're ready Friday night, they're clear with what they have to do and try and implement what we want, but also what Hawthorn do. And you know, from there it's about in game. I've just got to manage that the best way I possibly can. And yeah, I've had a little bit of experience doing it, not in the hot seat, but yeah, one I'm really looking forward to.
You crossed over with Sam Mitchell, didn't you, at West Coast briefly?
Yeah. What
were your impressions of him as a player and coach?
Oh, he's just got an unbelievable football brain. You know, I think, and that's what he's shown over a period. He's strong in his ways of what he wants, and you know, I think that's why Hawthorn is certainly so lucky to have him, is because of obviously his football intellect, but also his ability to be able to build relationships with players is really strong as well. So yeah, them bumping or bouncing really quickly last year was not a surprise.
Just on Errol, I know we've been told we'll be assessed in 5 weeks or so. Have you got any indication on when he might be able to get back yet?
No, not at all. No, we haven't sort of spoken to the surgeon, other than obviously things went well. He's back in Sydney, you know, so from now it's about him just trying to get through the next couple of weeks. And then once you reassess him, the time frame will come from that. Yeah, obviously it won't be anytime soon. So that's the unfortunate part for the footy club.
So just going back, sorry, you said earlier that you know about cyclones having grown up in country Western Australia. Like, what sort of experiences have you had with cyclones?
Yeah, I've had everything from tropical depressions, Category 1s to Cat 5s. And one went through not long ago as a Cat 5 over in WA, a couple hundred k's away from where I was born and my brother was living. So, yeah, they're really eerie. We've had the eye crossover where it goes still for about 40 minutes. So ever since we were kids, we sort of dealt with it all the way through. So yeah, hopefully for all the families and everyone, you know, communities up there, that they're as safe as possible, tied everything down, and they're as ready as they possibly can be.
As you mentioned, Brody's got to get through today, hopefully. Yep. But if he doesn't, are you confident in kind of the ruck stocks with Pete and Will, and then even hopefully Hayden McLean might be ready, even though he's kind of played a couple of VFL practice matches? Yeah,
and I think, and that's the part that you obviously want every player available. And if you don't get that, players that have performed really well, and Pete's one of those through the pre-season, he's done everything. So, you know, it's a matter of we'll assess tonight and what happens, and then make a decision from there. But either way, they've both played really good pre-seasons, and Will Green as well. So one will get the opportunity, and we'll see what that falls after the session tonight.
And have you decided whether you're going to be sitting up in the box, sitting on the sidelines? Like, where do you think you'll be for the first game?
No, I'll be up in the coach's box to start, but I'm sort of flexible with that as well. If I think that I need to be down with the players, I'll move down there.
More celebrations like we saw next to Force?
Not sure. Yeah, I actually don't know. I can get caught up in the emotion every now and again, being a passionate person, but I'll try and stay as calm as I possibly can.
Are we likely to see any debutantes early in the season?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I think one thing I'd love to do is to be able to play some kids at some stage. Yeah, I'm not really sure whether it'll be this one or in the coming weeks, how long that'll be. And it's one thing we've got to really assess as the season progresses. We want to play a lot of our squad throughout the year. So, yeah, a few of them played last week that they actually did really well. So we'll have a strong discussion about whether we're rewarded and how soon it is.
Names we can look forward to?
Well, I think if you saw Riley Bice, what he did, Ruck Andrew, Tom Hanley, you know, to be able to sit there as a coach and experience them in their first sort of encounter in a Swans jumper, albeit it's only a practice game, but to still show that they can withstand what's required. We understand round 0 and 1 and 2 really ramp up, but they've done everything they possibly can over the pre-season.
Dean, last year, the Hollywood Hawks were known as the cool kids. Who's the coolest kid here?
Oh, God. Well, it sort of depends on what you call cool. They're a little bit different. They're a little bit different to what I call cool, compared to probably what my daughter calls cool. So yeah, I think that's what you want. Is you want to see people be themselves. That's what they did, and I'm all for that.